You know, I genuinely sometimes question the mental fortitude of some people that I've talked to and interacted with online. Because despite the fact that the internet has provided us with such great abilities for communication and to get people's messages out into the world, it's also really, really easy to see why some people just shouldn't be allowed to have that right. Because I want to get it out of the way real quick. This video is about people donating insane amounts of money to Chris Chan on his live streams, because it's insane to me how anyone could possibly justify doing that to the extent that it's been happening recently. Now, this isn't my sole idea. I know for a fact there are a lot of people online who agree with me. So before some goon in the comments section comes along and says, "Why are you trying to tell people what they can and can't do with their money, dude? Why are you trying to do that?" I'm not. Alright? If you work a dead-end job surrounded by fucking douchebag bosses and other people who don't give a fuck about you or your personal health or your existence and only see you as an ability to make the bottom dollar go up, that's fine with me. If you want to spend whatever amount of money you make a week on something like that, and you don't have anything better to do with your $5, $10, $100, I've seen some goons donate massive amounts of money to this fucking idiot. If that's what you want to do with your cash, I'm not going to stop you, because it's no skin off my ass. But I implore you to listen to what I'm going to say in this video today and at least try and respect the perspective I'm coming at this topic from. Because I think this genuinely is one of the dumbest things, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one that thinks this. I was on Reddit pretty recently. I saw a post on Reddit where people were saying one of their biggest pet peeves with recent Chris Chan is the amount of money he's making. He is making more money now than he ever did before he went to prison for fucking his own mum. He's making more money than half the people that are donating to him. Why? What's the justification? When Chris returned and his first live stream happened, I'm not personally going to look too deeply for all of the digits or do the math on this, because I don't have the time or the patience to. But I saw people predicting that with the rate of money Chris Chan was making in that live stream, he'd hit 10K. I saw someone claim Chris had made $100,000. I don't believe that claim for a second, but the fact that anyone is even predicting that that's a possibility already proves my point on how wrong this is and how stupid some people are. Firstly, I've heard people say, "We have to start giving Chris money, man, because that's the only way to have him do anything funny. That's the only way we're going to get content out of Chris now, if we give him money." Are you fucking stupid right now? Are you kidding me? Decades Chris has existed online. The biggest lolcow on the internet. The biggest. You're telling me someone who's been online for this long and that the internet knows so much about, who we haven't had to pay a single dollar to be entertained by up until this point. Now we have to start giving him money for him to say funny shit. This guy thinks he is Jesus. And you're trying to tell me and trying to convince me we have to give this guy money for him to be funny or entertaining. Are you kidding me right now? It's unbelievable. Chris has still got affairs from years ago where he was paid money to do stuff for people and he didn't finish it. He hasn't made a Sonichu comic in full for years now. Thousands of days last time I checked. When he does finally have the inspiration to do a drawing, it's a completely incoherent mess. Half the time when people donate to this guy, he either reads their shit, doesn't give a response, makes a funny face and moves on. And people take screenshots of that face and put them all over the internet acting like it's the funniest shit they've ever seen. Despite the fact that Chris's face is almost permanently fucked. You're trying to tell me that this motherfucker deserves the cash that people are paying him. What about the merchandise, man? What about the merchandise? Fine. Merchandise, I can understand it. It's a piece of history. I've wanted to get myself a Sonichu medallion or one of the Sonichu comics for years now. At least you're getting something out of it. And as to my knowledge, he's got people helping him out with the production of that stuff. So at least you're getting something from that. But donating to Chris's live streams, when in reality, half the time, either the reaction you get has nothing to do with what is being said, or it's just regurgitated stuff from Twitter, there's no value there. I'm not telling you you can't do it, but I'm saying it makes our community look like a group of dribbling retards. The fact that a man who was in prison for over a year for fucking his own mum can then come out of that situation and make more money than a majority of people working jobs during their everyday life, working 9-to-5 jobs by sitting on his ass doing pretty much nothing, is flooring to me. Insane to me. I've seen people complain about this many times. YouTube, Facebook, Reddit. Yeah, Facebook, I know, I must be 70 years old. Fuck, people I know in real life who know about Chris Chan have complained about this to me. They've said, you know, I don't agree with this. I think this is really stupid. Lolcows like DSP spend time complaining about not making enough money until their pay pigs and their white knights come in and give them a couple of $100 every day. And then finally they can be happy about it. Well, Chris gormlessly sits back doing fuck all, sitting there going, you know, he's Jesus. He's Jesus, Chris Chan, Sonichu, Blue Heart, whatever the fuck. He can sit there incoherently rambling, barely making sense, and make this much money. You might just be saying, oh, you're just jealous, man. You're just fucking jealous. You get paid peanuts to work in a place that's hot and that makes you sweaty, makes your eyebrows and your butthole stink. You get paid fuck all to do that. But Chris is making enough money to potentially pay off his debts and move out of home. Wouldn't you be? I'm sitting here watching this guy who can barely figure out what his own fucking name is, pretending he's seen into the future, and then repeating words from a My Little Pony YouTube fucking video in real time, acting like he's doing this because he's got future-seeing powers. He's a clairvoyant. And then these motherfuckers come out and say, well, we have to do this, man. We have to. Like, seriously, really, real talk here. You go into Domino's. You walk up to the counter and you ask the clerk, I want a large pizza pie, pepperoni, deep dish crust. I want a garlic bread and I want a big Pepsi. He then goes over to a seat in the corner for 20 minutes playing Raid fucking Shadow Legends on his iPhone. He sits there staring you deep in the fucking eyes, doing nothing. Then when he finally gets off his fat ass to go make your pizza, he makes the pizza, doesn't even cut the thing. It's like that Breaking Bad episode where Skinny Pete and Badger open the pizza box and they say, the pie's not cut, man. What's wrong with the pie? Doesn't even cut it, chucks it in a plastic bag, grabs it, holds it and shakes it in your face. Toppings fly everywhere. The pizza folds in two, breaks in half. It's not warm. It's all wet from the moisture that's building up in the bag. He makes your garlic bread, doesn't wrap it in tinfoil or anything. He puts it right on that very seat you were watching him sit down and play Raid Shadow Legends on the iPhone. And he sits on it and he farts on the fucking thing. Now it stinks. He's got garlic bread juices all up in his ass crack. Puts it in the same bag as the pizza, shakes it around right in front of you. He grabs you a large Pepsi bottle. He puts a Mentos in it, shakes it, and then gives you a half half-empty bottle of Pepsi that's all sticky on the bottle because all of the juices from the Pepsi leaked out the top. You don't then give that motherfucker an extra large tip because he fucked it up. He messed it up. He did nothing for you. You're not going to accept that. Half the people that are paying Chris right now to do sweet fuck all are the same kinds of people who would complain about that service. How could you justifiably say one thing is good and the other isn't? It makes us look like goons. We're paying a motherfucker literally to sit on his ass and do nothing. You know, I made a TikTok short about this pretty recently. I went on one of Chris's live streams, watched for 15 seconds. He was talking about, he was talking about making the medallions. He sits there, literally in the first 15 seconds, and lets out the monstrous belch. One of the biggest belches I've ever heard. And I was laughing my ass off. I cut that video down into a YouTube short and everyone I know who's watched it laughed their ass off at that. How much money did I have to pay? Not a dime. This guy is entertaining as much as it is without having to be paid for it. If you want to buy a Sonichu comic book or a medallion, at least you're getting a service from that. But stop donating this gargantuan amount of money to this guy who will blow it on Legos and bras and fucking games he doesn't even play. If he even does play games anymore, I'm pretty sure video games aren't something he's interested in anymore, which is a real shame because video games have been synonymous with his story for years. What's the biggest insult to me about this entire thing is this community, the Christian community, is full to the brim with some of the smartest people I know on the internet. Fan artists, animators, musicians. The Quickie has some of the most detailed, analytical fucking articles I've ever read. You want to know something about Chris Chan? You go read the wiki. Watch Gino Samuel's documentary. He's one of the best documentarians on the entirety of this platform. And that's a pretty big claim because there are a lot of really good ones on YouTube. Go read the wiki if you want to know something about Chris, right? But anyway, the health and physicality page on the Quickie genuinely is so well written and so in-depth. It rivals some health manuals that people in college and university that I know have had to study in order to get their good grades and become doctors and surgeons. Because it's so well written and it's so good. Yet now our community, to the wider internet and to the mainstream media, is either associated with fucking hating on trans people or giving money to a genuine person who's just gotten out of prison for fucking his own mum. Because these impulsive people who want to regurgitate shit they've seen on Twitter want to give this guy money. It absolutely makes zero sense to me. I cannot fathom how so many people complain about this, but there are also people out there who are like, don't try to control people, man. You can't control what people do with their money. I know. Which is why you're watching this video. I want people to try and at least look at my perspective and respect what I'm trying to say, because I want to try and make sense of how I feel about this. It's like people in the Call of Duty community ranting and raving about Call of Duty being fucked right now. Skill-based matchmaking is off the charts. The game is bad. Players in that game feel like they're being screwed over. People who are high levels in that game feel like they're being screwed over. Everyone's getting screwed right now, and that's what I feel is happening in this community. People are complaining about it, but there's really no way to stop it unless we really, really fucking articulate what our problem with this whole situation really is. I don't want this video to come off as me saying, no one donate to Chris. I mean, I don't know why it would be worth it even to begin with. Half the time, out of every funny thing I've seen from Chris's live streams based off donations, it's either Chris not even bothering to read what's been said to him because he doesn't like it or it catches him off guard and he has no idea how to respond. You'd have a better chance of getting a dignified and sensical response by tagging him on Twitter or fucking X or whatever the hell I'm supposed to be calling it now. You'd have a better chance at getting a more dignified response. There have been some funny things in his live streams that have come and originated from donations. And I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. I don't want this video to come off as me saying everyone that donates to Chris is a dumb idiot. Because I'm not saying that. There are a lot of funny things I've seen from Chris's live streams where people have donated things that have genuinely made me laugh. What I'm trying to say is the amount of money Chris must be making from these, from what I've personally seen, sometimes you can't go at 10 seconds to a minute without Chris being donated $5, $10, $15 just so someone can say, huh, you fucked your mum. You know how messed up that is? Yeah, everyone does. I'm just saying moderation is key, because what you're effectively doing is you're programming Chris to not even care about the live stream chat. Unless it's a donation, why would he read it? Why would he care? He might read one occasionally and go,
yeah, well, you know, it's not Chris in my body right now, it's actually Sonichu Blueheart or whatever the fuck.
Moderation is important. We cannot have our community look like a group of gormless, drivelling idiots because a large group of pay pigs who probably just came fresh off of DSP's recent stream or Wings' recent stream. We can't have our community be defined by this when so many people have criticised and complained about it. I'm not necessarily even above this, alright? I will admit, I've donated to DSP once. I gave him $5 and I asked about what he thought of Tekken 8. And I also wanted to hear him say my name because that was funny, right? I've done it once. Crucify me all you want. That doesn't make me a hypocrite because I'm not doing it on the same level as these people are. Throwing DSP $5 towards paying off his tax debt or taking Cat out for a nice meal isn't the same as an entire community complaining about this, but the people who do it very frequently not changing their ways at all. Buy the merchandise. At least Chris has to actually provide you with something. Not that it's going to be of very high quality because Chris is incompetent, but at least you'll get something. And at this point, that's the charm of Chris's content, is that it's never good, it's never well made. Fuck, half the time, the best content he's ever made is the kind of stuff he puts any more effort into than simply as minimal effort as possible. But seriously, justify it for 1 second in a way that isn't simply, well, I'm not actually going to justify why what I'm doing is good. I'm just going to say that what you're saying is wrong. That's not an argument. That doesn't work that way. I don't want this video to come off as me trying to control how other people spend their money or to be insulting. I know it might be insulting, but I'm genuinely annoyed at this situation because it makes everyone associated look like blithering dumb idiots. You don't have to pay Chris in order for him to be entertaining. He thinks he's Jesus. That's entertaining enough. You're telling me you think you have to pay money for him to be entertaining or to get a reaction out of him. The guy who during prison, guys like Kiwi Tapes, Smokey, fucking Gibby, Rogue Internet Man were making videos about this guy about content from the past and the present at the time, getting hundreds of thousands of views, millions of combined views on their channels, but you still think we have to pay to get a reaction out of Chris. It's a situation that I genuinely understand why someone would be interested in donating to Chris, especially on those first live streams. First time back, people have questions. It makes sense. But Chris has probably made more money this year than he's ever made before because he came out of prison for fucking his mum. We're programming him even more to expect money for nothing. This video probably came off pretty fucking irate because I'm genuinely annoyed about this. I don't know how much money Chris has made. I don't know if he's made hundreds of thousands of dollars like people have claimed in the past. I don't necessarily think that's true. But we're living through a period in time where finances are harder and harder to come by and harder to manage, and people are wasting what little money they have in order to try and get ass pats within the Chris Chan community, by regurgitating shit Twitter memes or taking a screenshot of Chris's face while he reads something. It can be funny. I'm not trying to say that all donations that Chris has received have been unfunny. What I'm trying to say is, at what point do people say, all right, we've given this guy enough money to sustain himself, not that he'd even deserve that. Now, let's tone it down. This video probably ain't going to do anything, man, but I just wanted to say my piece, and I know for a fact, before anyone comes into these comment sections acting like a goon, coming in saying,
"You're in the minority, dude. You don't know what you're talking about, man. No one agrees with you."
I know for a fact that they do. Anyway, ladies and gents, that is going to be the end of today's video. I just wanted to talk about this, get it off my chest. Have a good one.